everyone, I'm the Modern Sea Witch. And I want to start out, let me apologize for not posting a podcast episode last week. Um, I was out of town. I had been to, but I had some technical difficulties. I thought I had all my equipment with me, but I did not. I was thinking I could do it with just my laptop, but my camera on there is absolutely horrible. Um, so I was like, oh, you know what? I will just use my phone because I take really good quality videos on my phone. But I forgot that my mic on my phone is not in good shape. So I apologize. That just did not work out. And I had to just, realize it wasn't meant to be. So, it is really storming outside right now. So, you may hear a rumble of thunder back there, possibly. I apologize for that. Also, if you're watching the video of this particular podcast, you're going to notice I'm not in my normal room. And so my lighting's going to be a little harsh in here with the wedding approaching. We have family staying with us, so I had to give up my usual space and put a bunch of things away. Because while my practice is open, there's people that I just don't want to necessarily talk to about it. So some of it's put away. But you'll notice I do have some stuff here. Now, what I thought I'd talk about today is what my practice looked like prior to my decision to have an open practice. So I decided to share, what that entailed. What did I do back then? So probably the first thing that I did when I was still in the broom closet, and again, trying not to set up red flags. My kids, I didn't want them being ostracized for my beliefs. I didn't want my husband nor my employment placed in jeopardy because, when I first had the inklings that I wanted to practice when I was a very, young adult or going into being a young adult, it just wasn't really acceptable where I was from. So, I kind of pushed it aside. And figured, all right, well, it's just not going to happen. So like I said, I just didn't, explore it the way I wanted to. I might make some purchases here and there that weren't completely obvious what my choices were about. I might have a pretty piece of jewelry that I knew had significance for me, but other people would just think, oh, that's a pretty piece. Let's see. So when I really started to finally acknowledge that I wanted to practice witchcraft, even though it was, in secret. Again, I did not want to draw attention whatsoever. No, no traces whatsoever. I didn't buy any books. I didn't, when the internet finally became a thing, I did not do any, searches on the internet. When social media came out, didn't explore any of that. It wasn't until this last year that when I decided to make my practice open, or bring it into the open, that I finally started exploring those things. So, I thought I'd share, well, how did I practice? What did I do that I considered, witchcraft? I still did spell work, which probably still isn't a heck of a lot different from what I'm doing now. If again, I knew it was, I would sit and meditate with a piece. Like, if Hank's scratching at the door. If I had a piece of jewelry that I wanted to enchant, to impart a particular meaning to, for protection or whatever, I would sit with that piece and, meditate with it, talk with it. And honestly, it's from what I'm reading now, that's what you do. You want to make an amulet of protection? That's what you do. You focus your intent and you let it know that's its purpose. So a lot of what I did was just intuitive. Let's see. So music's always been a very integral part of my life. I played a couple of instruments when I was a kid. I don't really play anything now. I can't always hold a tune when I'm singing either, but I don't care. When I'm by myself, the music's for me. And so, it didn't matter whether it was a lyrical piece, or just an instrumental. Sometimes that music's going to put you in a completely different frame of mind. And that's what you need sometimes to get to where you need, so you can focus that intent, what you want to have happen. So a lot of different music and sound became a big part of what I utilized. As far as my title, I'm the modern sea witch. So I love the ocean. It is always been a big part of my life. And the sound of the surf has always been very, very soothing for me. And it is for most people. I'll give you that. But for me, it really is. And I can't go very. I try and try, to stay away as much as I can, but I'm sorry, I get drawn back and I have to go. Doesn't matter if it's just a day trip, I will drive, hours just to go sit and meditate at, the edge, for a little bit, then drive hours to get back home. But, if I couldn't make it to a particular place, I could, at least listen to a recording and still, that would help me. Let's see, and there's other sounds as well. The sounds of wind chimes. I've always loved the sound of wind chimes, and there's so many different types of chimes. And so I've always had them all over my yards, so they would catch the breeze, and I would always, think that they were setting up a little bit of protection for me. My early warning system, if something was there, why is that chime moving? And there's no wind, there's no breeze. Something's going on here. So sound has always been a big part as well. Meditation, like I said, meditating by the seashore, but meditation in general, again, that was something that wasn't gonna raise a red flag, not even just, spiritually, but it's a good practice to get into for anybody. It does help with stress, and I definitely feel it when I'm not being a little more regular with it. And believe me, I've let myself lapse a lot with that, and I really can tell when I need to. So, I may not always be sitting in lotus position, which can get a little uncomfortable depending upon, how flexible you are, or your age. You can still, do a sitting meditation. You can lay down, although you might fall asleep. um, you could go for a walk and just kind of, zone out. Try to just feel the rhythm of your feet hitting the pavement, or, walking in nature. Getting out in nature, that's, again, another huge piece of what my practice looked like prior and still. I love to go camping, whether it's in a tent, whether it's in my RV. Um, just, I mean, I'd like to go hiking. I'm not in the shape I used to be in for hiking, but I still like to go hiking, even if it's just a walk. And a walk in the woods, we just call it hiking, period. Um, but that's been a huge part of my practice, just getting out and communing with nature. Um, trying to be mindful of your environment. So, that was a huge part of of what I was doing prior. Um, Also, I started getting into essential oils. I never got into the doTERRA, or what's the other one, Young Living. I've never liked the multi-level marketing things. But I did find a couple of good companies that I would get mine from. It would typically either be, usually Eden's Garden. I get a lot from there. Sometimes Mountain Rose Herbs. But that was really where I started getting information as far as correspondences. And it wasn't, that I was going, oh, I need to figure out what ingredients go into this spell, that kind of thing. Again, I was just trying to find other avenues to explore, and kind of stumbled upon that. Oh, okay. You could use rose for this, this and this, as it was listed for aromatherapy, or for possible antimicrobial or antibacterial properties of different things. And so that's kind of where I first started exploring um, using different botanicals um, and kind of working them into a purpose um, when I had something in mind. Um, so that was again one of those things. I think I somehow I got led there. Um, but it is such a huge part of witchcraft, the herbal or herbalism aspect. Um, and through that, through learning some of those correspondences that were used in those contexts, as far as the essential oil industry, especially for the kitchen herbs. I started. Hi, Hank. You can get up there. I started incorporating a little more intention into my cooking at that point. So it's been a wandering little path that I've been on. Although I don't think any witchcraft practice really is a straight and narrow path. Oh, but those are a few of the things that, sorry, the camera's bouncing a little. Hank is bumping into it. Hank, lay down, buddy. Um, Sorry about that. It's like a little mini earthquake. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of a sneak peek into what my practice looked like prior to me being in the open and, you know, starting to actually gather knowledge now that is based in witchcraft, as other people have been acquiring this knowledge for some time. I'm just kind of getting into all of that side of it, getting the core training that some people get. I've just been kind of coming at it from an intuitive and a little bit on the folkloric side, trying to piece together what I could without drawing attention. But now I'm really trying to educate myself on what all the different practices look like for different traditions and the different practices out there for magic. So it's been fun. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If maybe you have a question about something that you're curious about, well, how did I handle a particular aspect when I wasn't open with my practice and completely uneducated, we'll say that. At least now I'm starting to work on that side of it. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to check out the website. I've updated it with more book reviews. I'm getting them out there as quickly as I can. But I'm not going to make a promise that there'll be any updates to the website in the next week to 10 days. Nor am I going to promise that there will be a podcast episode next week. I will do my best, but like I said, we're in that final countdown to the wedding. So I've got a lot going on in the next 10 days. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.